All right, welcome everybody to part 2 of equivalent fractions. Hopefully your homework was not too hard yesterday. The questions that were on the homework were tricky, so if it was a little hard for you, that is okay. We are going to go over some more equivalent fraction practice today. And your homework will have a few more than they did yesterday for fractions. Okay, we are going to talk about numerators and denominators. Okay, numerators and denominators. What is a numerator? And what is a denominator? Perfect. Numerator goes on top and denominator goes on the bottom. If you don't know this, you need to write it down. Because in your homework it will say, with a denominator of this, so you need to know that the denominator is the bottom number, basically. Okay? So your homework and what we're going to be talking about today, it's going to give you a fraction, and then it's going to say, what is the equivalent fraction of this? Let me give you an example. 1/3. It will say, here's a fraction, 1/3. Give me an equivalent fraction with a denominator of 15. So you are going to figure out what the other fraction is with the denominator, which is the bottom number, of 15. So you need to figure out what goes right here. Okay, that is what we are going to be doing today. So remember what we talked about yesterday? What we do to the bottom, we have to do to the top. So 3 times 5 gives us 15. 3 times 5 is 15. So that means we did this to the bottom times 5. So we're going to do that to the top times 5. So 1 times 5 is 5. So that means 1/3 equals 5/15. 1/3 equals 5/15. So if you had a question that said, what fraction with a denominator of 15 is equal to 1/3, that's how you would solve it. It would be 5/15. Okay, let's do another one. I'm going to erase this, so if you haven't written down numerator and denominator, you need to write that down. Okay, we are going to move on. We'll switch colors because I like blue. We're going to move on and just keep practicing this concept. So what fraction with a denominator of 12 is equal to, we'll use 1/3 again. So 1/3, and we need a fraction with a denominator of 12. So we need to figure out what the numerator is. So what we do to the bottom, we have to do to the top. Okay, what we do to the bottom, we have to do to the top. So how do I get from 3 to 12? I multiply by 4. So what I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. 3 times 4 is 12. 1 times 4 is 4. So we learn from that 1/3 equals 4/12. These are equivalent fractions. It means they equal the same thing. Okay, if I had a pizza and it was cut into 3 pieces and I ate one of them, it would be this, I'm eating the same amount as if I had the same pizza, but instead of cutting it into 3 pieces, I cut it into 12 pieces and I ate 4 of them. Okay, if you draw a picture like we talked about yesterday, as you saw in the video and in your textbook, if you have a rectangle with 3 pieces and you color in one of them, it's the same as if you have a rectangle with 12 pieces and you color in 4 of them. Okay, you can see that they equal the same. All right, let's do another one. What fraction with a denominator of, let's do 18. What fraction with a denominator of 18 is equivalent to 2/6? Okay, so that's our information. We're going to write over here 2/6 equals something over 18, because we know that our denominator needs to be 18. Okay, so now how do we get from 6 to 18? We multiply by what? How do we get from 6 to 18? 6 times 3 is 18, so what I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. So 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 3 is 6. So our answer is 6/18. 6/18. Okay? We'll do one more practice, and then we will move on to a little bit of review for the last couple minutes. Okay, the last one. What fraction with a denominator of 24 is equal to, let's do 5/8. Okay, so we've got 5/8 equals, we need a fraction with a denominator of 24. Denominator is the bottom number. So I'm going to do that. Okay. So how do we get from 8 to 24? We multiply by what? Multiply by 3. 8 times 3 is 24. What I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. 5 times 3 is 15. So our answer is 15/24, or 15/24. Okay, it's kind of a crazy number. It's very large, but that is how you would find equivalent fractions if it gives you one fraction and tells you what the denominator needs to be for the other fraction. Okay, we are converting 5/8 into a fraction with a denominator of 24. We multiplied by 3, we multiplied by 3 on the top, and we got 15. Okay, if you need a little bit more of a review, if you want to go back and watch, we just did about 4 problems. If you want to go back and watch those 4 problems again, you can. On your homework, you will also see some questions about money. 2 different kinds of questions. One, it'll give you a bunch of coins, and you have to add them together. And then at the bottom, the last 2 questions will be word problems with money. It's talking specifically about change, getting change from something that you've purchased. Okay, so real quick, we'll just do one example of each one, and then you guys can start your homework. If I were you, I would pay attention, because I'm going to go over what will help you with your homework. If you think, oh, I know money, I can do it, that's fine. You can stop the video and you can start your homework. But again, give me 5 minutes and then we'll be done. Okay? The first type of question you're going to see on today's homework and on your test on Friday, you're going to see questions that say, you have 4 quarters, 3 dimes, and 7 pennies. How much money do you have total? Okay, so the most important thing for this, you need to line up your decimals. Okay, so you have to figure out how much money that is. You have to figure out how much money that is, and you have to figure out how much money that is, and then you need to add them all together. So let's do that. If you have 4, whoops, I didn't put an S there. If you have 4 quarters, then how much money do you have? 4 quarters equals $1. Okay, 3 dimes equals 30 cents. So you're going to write it like that. And 7 pennies equals 7 cents. Don't forget this 0 right here. That's what most people forget. If you wrote it like this, that would be 70 cents, which is 7 dimes, not 7 pennies. Okay, let me go. All right, so now we're going to add all of these together. Let's do it in maroon. All right, so we've got $1 plus 30 cents plus 7 cents. Adding them all together, 0 plus 0 plus 7, 7. 0 plus 3 plus 0, 3. 1 plus 0 plus 0, 1. So your answer is $1.37. Okay, your homework will have 3 questions that look like that. They'll be a little bit harder than that one, but I would do it with these steps right here. Okay, I would write out how much money is equal to 4 quarters, and then how much 3 dimes equals, and how much 7 pennies equals. If you try to do it in your head, you're probably going to mess up somewhere. Okay, it's too hard to add decimals in your head. So if I were you, I would write it out just like we did in those steps right there. Okay, and then the last type of question you will see, there are 2 questions on your homework like this. They are word problems with change. So I pay for something and then what change do I get? Okay, so the questions will look something like this. I'm just going to give you an example of a word problem and then show you how to solve it. So let's say we have our friend Lily. Lily is our nice friend. She went to the store and she bought some Skittles. Okay, so Lily bought some Skittles. She gave the cashier, so she gave the person at Walmart or wherever she went $1. She gave the person $1 and the cashier gave her back, she gave her back 15 cents. She gave her 15 cents back. How much did the Skittles actually cost? Okay, when you see this question, these are the steps that you're going to have to go through, okay? So Lily went to the store to buy Skittles. She gave the cashier $1. She gave the cashier a $1 bill. The cashier gave her back 15 cents. So how much did the Skittles actually cost? Are we adding or are we subtracting? Think about it. Well, she gave the cashier $1 and the cashier gave her back some money, right? So we're going to subtract to figure out how much the Skittles actually cost. Okay, so we've got $1 minus 15 cents. Okay, those decimals don't look super lined up because I made that too big. So I'm going to just show you what it should really look like. Okay, so now we're going to solve it. We can't do 0 minus 5. We can't borrow from the 0. So we're going to come all the way over here, make that a 0, make that a 10. And then we're going to borrow again, make that a 9, and make that a 10. 10 minus 5 is 5. 9 minus 1 is 8. Don't forget my decimal. 0 minus 0 is 0, and then my dollar sign. So the Skittles actually cost 85 cents. Okay? So if we wanted to check this answer, we would just add, right? So Lily had $1. The Skittles cost 85 cents, and the cashier gave her 15 cents back. So if I add these together, I should get $1, right? Because that's how much she had. 5 plus 5 is 10. 1 plus 8 is 9. Plus 1 is 10. $1. Okay? So those kinds of problems you will see on your homework as well as the test on Friday. Okay, I hope that was helpful. Don't forget your homework is going to consist of equivalent fractions. Don't forget what a denominator is. Denominator is the bottom number. It's also going to consist of word problems with money, figuring out how much, if you have a bunch of coins, how much it equals, and then also change. When you give somebody at the store $1 and they give you back some, how are you going to figure out how much the thing actually cost? Okay, so that is what your homework is going to be. I will see you, well, I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Good luck on that homework. Don't forget, you can do it as many times as you want. So if you miss a few of them, go try it again. It'll help you prepare for the test. Good luck.